Can you drive this cab any faster? I told you that I'm late. I didn't hear my alarm this morning, and I have an important meeting today. Hello, is anyone home in that head of yours? Are you listening to me? Yes, I'm listening to you, the taxi driver replied without turning his head to acknowledge me. There it is again. Extreme pain in my arm and a burning in my chest. Must be acid reflux. I muttered under my breath, I don't have time for this shit. Excuse me, David? What do you have time for? The taxi driver said to me, attempting to understand my situation. What? How do you know my name? The name tag sticker on your suit you're wearing says David on it. That is your name, isn't it? Yes, that's my name. Now can you get the lead out of your ass and drive a little faster? I yelled. And as I did, I felt the burning in my chest again. The taxi driver replied, Sure thing, David. I rambled to the taxi driver explaining my situation to answer his question. I forgot that I had put this stupid name tag sticker on my suit this morning for an important meeting today with the iCloud group. This is everything I've been working for as an architect for the past 6 years. The big payday. Everything. The pain in my chest intensifies as I raise my voice. So I continued in a lower tone, careful not to aggravate my acid reflux. If I can convince them that my architectural design for their New World headquarters is best suited for their needs, I will have enough money to retire early and start being happy again. Like I was when my daughter Claire was born 6 years ago. I will finally have time to spend with her and be the dad that she deserves. Did you say daughter? The taxi driver replied. Yes, daughter. What the heck? Are you writing a book about me or something? The taxi driver laughs. Me? Oh no, I'm not a good writer. I can never find the right words and I can't type fast enough. Yeah, well, you can't drive fast enough either, being a smartass, I quipped. You seem to me like a very successful person, David. I'm sure your name and story will be written in a good book someday. Just not by me. I shook my head and looked at my Rolex. The taxi driver continued. I'm surprised to hear you say that you have a daughter. I picked you up a bit ago from a small single apartment. It didn't look big enough for a family. I leaned forward, peering over the front seat to see the name of the taxi driver on the dash. It read Michael. Michael, is that your name? That's a bit personal, don't you think? Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm Michael with Guardian Taxi Service. We provide the safest transportation to and from any destination. He continued. Sorry if I offended you. I'm very observant. That's my job. If traffic isn't moving in the right direction, then I find a different route. I'm not offended. The short story is that I left my wife and abandoned my daughter on her first birthday 6 years ago. Her mother sends pictures of her to me every now and then. I guess she thinks it will change things between her and I. If I can land this deal today, I can be the person that I'm meant to be. An excruciating pain grips my body. My chest is burning and I can hardly speak as I start flailing around in the back seat in discomfort. Are you okay, David? The taxi driver asked. I'll be fine. I just need a second, I said in an uncomfortable voice. The taxi driver stopped the cab and peered into the back seat to see my condition. After a few moments, I started feeling a little better. Perhaps you should step outside and get some fresh air, he said. I replied, I don't have time for that. The taxi driver said, You have plenty of time. We are only 50 minutes away. Why don't you step outside and get some fresh air? I'll wait right here, I promise. I have to get you to the big meeting today. I replied, I hate to say this, but maybe you're right. So I stepped outside. The taxi driver leaned over the passenger seat to hand me something through the window. He said it fell out of my pocket. It was a picture of my daughter Claire, the one that I keep with me. The cabbie knew who it was in the picture but didn't say anything. He just smiled. When I turned from the taxi, I saw the most beautiful building that I had ever seen. The architecture was masterly designed. Smooth lines, practical, and most of all expressive. I've lived in this city for 50 years and I don't ever recall seeing this structure. I had to go get a closer look. I have time, I said to myself. I wandered up to the building to admire the design. I then walked through the front door to check out the interior walls. They were brilliant. My gaze was interrupted by clapping coming from behind some double doors in front of me. I stepped inside, and to my amazement, I saw my Claire performing a dance recital on stage. I pulled out the picture that I keep with me to be sure it was her. My heart was in delight as I felt my love for her overwhelm me. She was my beautiful little daughter, and she performed magnificently. I stood and watched the recital until its conclusion, no longer caring about any important meeting with the iCloud group. It can wait. I stayed a few moments to talk to her when it was over, not knowing if she would recognize me. I haven't seen her since her first birthday, and she is now 7 years old. I promptly made my way down the hallway to the prep room to see my daughter. I couldn't wait to hug her and tell her all the things that I'm sorry for and how things are going to be different from now on. There she is, walking toward me from down the hall, holding her mother's hand. It was her. I was overjoyed. As she approached, I went down on one knee and reached my hands out to express myself. I excitedly said, "Claire, do you know who I am? It's me, Daddy. I miss you so much." And like a spirit does, she passed right through my body. Only she wasn't the spirit with no physical form. I was. I was shocked, petrified like I was frozen in time. All the parents with their children walked right through my body in the now crowded hallway. I was absent from any physical form. I ran up to a mirror to see my reflection, to in some way convince myself that I'm real. I had no reflection. Then, there he was behind me when I turned around. Michael, the taxi driver. He said to me, "Did you enjoy watching your daughter today?" Still coming to the realization that I'm dead, I wept in my reply. Yes, I did. I thought I had more time. After a long pause, I added, "I died of a heart attack, didn't I?" "Yes," Michael replied. But how long have I been gone?" I timidly spoke. "Let's just say that's why you didn't hear your alarm this morning." We shared in a moment of silence, just looking at each other. The taxi driver spoke. "It's important for you to understand that people are much more than the bad things that happen to them." I took a moment to try and understand his words. I said to him, "Thank you for bringing me here to see my daughter." He replied, "You're welcome," as he tossed me some car keys. I said to him, "What's this?" He replied, "It's your taxi now." "But what about you, Michael? What will you do?" "Me? I have a plane that's waiting for me to pilot." I stood there and smiled as he turned and walked away, vanishing into thin air. Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm David with Guardian Taxi Service. We provide the safest transportation to and from any destination.